Okay, traders, here is another educational video for you all. Hopefully that you can take away some of these tips and tricks. This is all rinse and repeat stuff. We see this on a weekly basis, depending on how many assets you're looking at, but you're going to see this time and time again. Stick this on your wall, take notes, practice it, back test it, and you'll see for yourselves the ease of how trading can actually be when you remove all of the smokes and mirrors stuff that the market throws at you, with all the price action in and around these trade setups, luring you in, playing with your lizard mindset. Clear all that off your table. Concentrate on these setups. So this here is a setup around the opening range today in Wall Street. End of week, Friday runner, in the sense that sitting through some drawdown, but allowing it to play out as expected. Prospects for a continuation being a Friday, given the bullishness of the market as shown by the trend predator indicator, 3-star trend quality setup. We're perfectly clear to go higher on the weekly chart, the daily chart. We're not overextended. It was an inside day, signal day. So those in the community were notified of that, given the morning market watch list that I create each and every day in the US Open. So this was flagged on a watch list. It was the only one that I was actually really looking at, given the quality of it. And it played out nicely. So more often than not, these inside days, it's a phenomenon in the market that we can stay inside or we can break out, one way or the other, or very often both ways. And in this case, we were looking for the prospects of a retest of the lows, not a retest, or a test of the lows of yesterday, the inside day lows, a bullish commitment given the bullish trend that we're in for a move back to the other side of the inside day range, and a continuation thereof potentially. But we didn't quite get the explosiveness that we were looking for immediately out of the setup. So I've taken this off a touch below yesterday's target highs, given the 100% range expansion it already did, but it took its good time to get there, and it's late in the day. I don't envisage much more happening into the close on a Friday. If it's taken this amount of time to get to where it is, perhaps it might just stall and fizzle out, who knows. But quite happy with 3.5 hour that I was able to trade on my platform. So let's get into this. Now, this is a follow-on of the zero orb strategy, and this just goes to show that the market is fractal, and what you can see on the 5-minute charts, the 15-minute charts, you can see on the 30, the 1 hour, and it's the same type of schematic over and over again. So this here we can call a 30-minute zero setup. If you haven't looked at the 15-minute, go and check that out. It's on YouTube. It's in the Discord channel, in the Trend Predator channel on FXStreet server. Now, what I'll do is I'll just clear all this off and we'll start fresh. So the bigger picture is we are in breakout of last week's highs. This is an impulse, a correction, and prospects of a continuation. Impulse, correction, continuation. Now, as for a target on the upside, if this were midweek, I'd be inclined to hold on to it, but I've come out of the position because it's the end of the week and I don't want to hold anything over the weekend. But low to high, the Fibonacci, that would be my target if I was holding on to this into this target area. Impulse, pullback, continuation. Breakout, markets pull back, and they either continue, which is what we're banking on here, or they go into trading range, or they'll fail. So one of three things, we're banking on that there. Okay, that's the bigger picture. And then on the day itself, as I said, this was a inside day signal day. There it is there on the trend predator indicator. So we are in anticipation of a number of scenarios playing out. We just stay sideways within the range, or we break out one way or the other, or we take both sides of the range. And I was of the mind that we could take out both sides of the range. This is exactly what we got. And then coming into the strategy itself, we'd be targeting the inside day highs or a 100% range expansion at least for our upside target. And that's what we did there. Now, if we look at how things set up, I'm looking at this chart on a multi-time frame basis, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour. And then, of course, I'm looking at the sessions, how the sessions will set up, and so on. This here was like the TIE fighter schematic. And then the crossover using the London session and the New York session combined for our right side of the schematic. So what we've got here is the dump and then the pump. Okay, so that's our prospect for a bullish outcome combining the London session with New York. The dump, the consolidation, the final move before the continuation up. And then if we look at the zero strategy, we've got the peak formation high here, and then a peak formation low over here. Okay, so with those combined, like a sandwich, crushing the price into a consolidation at the midpoint of the peak formation high, peak formation low, around that closing price, and the bears have passed over the baton, as it were, to the bulls. So the bulls have the baton, and at timings at 10:30, the close of this candle, we anticipate a breakout of the range. So if we look at that on a smaller time frame, as you can see here, you've got this consolidation around that closing price for the breakout at timings. So we're looking for signs that we're breaking through. We've got that inside bar there. Would have been prudent just to see the market break out of there. I got in slightly early on a buy stop in anticipation of the move through. And my stop loss was conservative because there was always the prospect, being in on a buy stop, that it could come back down to the other side of the inside bar. So I was prepared for that with a stop loss below the low of the opening range. Roll the dice and let it play out. And essentially that's how it worked. We came up into the highs of the range, so we had to sit through a bit of a pull, well, all day pulling back into the closing price, relying on the closing price as a support. So we didn't quite get the explosive outcome that we anticipated of the ABC. Instead, we got a higher time frame ABC on the 15-minute chart there, coming out of the 30-minute zero strategy for the continuation out of the opening range, highs and lows for a 100% range expansion of that range. That was the minimal target for a 3.5R outcome. And now prospects of a test of the highs. Inevitably, it will get up there for a 4R. I say inevitably, you never know. But it would be pretty unlikely not to get up there. And then a 200% range expansion thereafter. And then the continuation, as we talked about, with the prospects of a move into the target area as per a swing trade setup, with the higher time frames all aligned bullish. Breakout on the monthly, slightly toppy perhaps on the monthly chart with 3 consecutive breakouts and no significant pullback yet, correction thereof. Breaking out the weekly chart, breaking out there on the daily chart. There is a first red day signal, but it's one that's failed. So on a break of those highs, then if that first red day signal is a failure, then the path of least resistance is to the upside. So there we have it, a nice end to the week, ending on a strong foot into the weekend, closing it down. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been educational. If you've got any questions, reach out to me in the comments. Come over to the FXStreet server. Would love to have you there. You'll be very welcome. There's plenty of education on these types of setups in the Trend Predator channel at the FXStreet server. And wish you all great success in your trading.